Welcome to Othon Anastasakis' latest video briefing, which with the Greek elections due in 2 days' time, are on those Greek elections, which are likely to have great effect on not only on Greece but also on the euro area. And my name is Michael Taylor. I'm analyst for the region for Othon Anastasakis, and I have with me Dr. Othon Anastasakis of St. Anthony's College and the Southeast European Studies Centre. And so I'm going to tell us who the likely winner is going to be.
Well, by now there is a near certainty that Syriza will win the elections. All the opinion polls so far, but all of them have indicated that there is a majority for Syriza and that New Democracy comes second. As time goes closer, opinion polls shows that the gap is also widening in favor of Syriza. The question is, how many small parties are going to enter in the parliament? Because the more small parties you've got in the parliament, the less likelihood is that Syriza will be able to get an absolute majority and form a government by itself. Because of the very polarizing electoral campaign in the past 3 weeks, and especially from the part of New Democracy that has been mobilizing towards extreme right, it should be expected that parties of the center-left might do well and surpass the 3 percentage point that they need to get into the parliament.
Yes, it's a complicated electoral system with there's a bonus of 50 seats for the leading party, but also that is based on rearranging the votes for the smaller parties. So it's difficult to predict at this point, but I suppose if Syriza gets about 38-39%, then they might be governing alone. But we're looking probably more likely at a coalition, aren't we?
Yes, because again, what we're getting from the opinion polls is a percentage in the region of 32-33, and that gives around 142, 143. So while they're close to the 150, at the same time they're very far away.
Yeah, 150 seats in Parliament, so that's 151 is the magic number. So
that's right, out of 300 MPs,
yeah. But so we're looking at possibly a coalition with Syriza being the first party having the mandate to form a government, and it's looking for a partner.
If there is this outcome, which is likely that you've got Syriza first, and then you've got New Democracy second, and all these small parties from 5 to 6 smaller parties in the parliament, that shows that the people will want some kind of change and some kind of hope, as they see it, that comes from the left-wing government and tired of the establishment parties, and at the same time that they would like a coalition to be formed. So Syriza has explicitly said that it will not form a coalition with the memorandum parties.
That's the parties in the present government.
That's right. So that leaves the coalition partners, the Potami, which is the river, and that comes third in most of the opinion polls. And they themselves has also said, the river, that they would cooperate either with whoever comes first, either with Syriza or New Democracy. And then the other party, which is left for a coalition, is Independent Greeks. Now, Independent Greeks are a right-wing party ideologically, but they've been very much against the memorandum and the Troika, and that's what connects them with Syriza.
Right.
If there is a coalition that's formed and there are the Independent Greeks together with Syriza, then Syriza will have to make sacrifices in the foreign policy domain, because this is where a lot of the nationalist rhetoric of the Independent Greeks that will have to be compromised when they do a coalition with Syriza.
Yeah, it might be a far left and a far right party in coalition. It doesn't look very stable.
If you adopt the terminology of a far left for Syriza and far right for Independent Greeks, my opinion is that neither is neither.
Right.
And that Syriza, from the 4% that it was in 2009, it's gone up to 32%. Now that's not extreme left voters. And there's a lot of PASOK, the old PASOK or whatever, that is incorporated in this. It's a party like all the other parties that has its own extreme left wing, and at the same time it's got its more moderate side. And during the pre-electoral campaign, what Tsipras has tried to show has been his moderate side,
Yeah.
and the more moderate people within his party have been the more prominent as well.
And if we have a coalition, then presumably it has to give way on some areas to its coalition partner, whichever one that is. So we're not looking at, we don't really expect a sort of the whole Syriza platform to be put into effect.
If it is a coalition, yes, because that would be a combination. The River has clearly declared that their main objective is to remain within Europe, within the Eurozone.
Yeah.
So that's their main kind of priority, is the European Union. If there is a Syriza government, whenever it's formed, either by itself or a coalition with other parties, we would expect that they would try to start with some policies that would alleviate poverty. They would be of a more humanitarian nature, that they are really visible and striking, and they show the benevolent face of Syriza, and then possibly go on with how to deal with loans and the people who are really indebted, and how they're going to arrange on this in limitless installments.
Yeah.
These kinds of moves that will show the humanitarian face of Syriza, while it will be negotiating the hard issues with the Troika.
Yes, which are going to be tough negotiations.
It's going to be tough negotiation. I don't think that Syriza wants to get out of the euro. It doesn't want to be the government that has taken Greece out of the eurozone. I don't think that Germany wants Greece out of the eurozone. There has to be some kind of a compromise in the middle. The question, and the most worrying, is how long this is going to last.
Yes.
Because at the same time we know that Greece doesn't have the means to survive for a very long time, and that will affect, not so much because there will be the absolute poverty, but there will be a lot of bad psychological climate for businesses. There won't be any bank liquidity, and if you have a protracted period of uncertainty, that will also affect the very few gains that we've seen during last year in the nominal economy.
Yeah, I mean, there are some incentives to forming a deal with the international creditors in the sense of the ECB bond buying program. I mean, Greece has to be in good standing with its international creditors to qualify for that. At the moment they don't. But I think there's the possibility, you talk about uncertainty, I mean, we could be facing fresh elections, couldn't we?
Yes, if there is no coalition government, or they don't manage to agree on the basic guidelines, you see, we can have different options and different scenarios that we can discuss here. We can have an independent government with Syriza that has the absolute majority, and that is able to form a government, but is not able to agree within itself.
Right.
When it starts negotiations with Troika, because one side will be pushing towards being more radical, the other being more moderate, so that can create a very big friction within, and may lead to the collapse of the government very soon. This is a scenario that New Democracy would hope for. And then, if you've got a coalition, that the coalition doesn't manage to agree, and then you cannot have the agreement that you need in order to be able to form, and that then leads to new elections and maybe more polarization then, because we saw that in the 2012 elections, the first one led to a certain outcome, no government, and then the second led to a more polarizing outcome.
Yeah. So I think we're not out of the woods at all with Greece now. So, and Othon Anastasakis will be following the developments in Greece very closely. So, and you can see that on our website, oxan.com. And thank you.